enjoyed my tenure here. I have no regrets. If I had to live my life over again, I perhaps would be
Assistant Superintendent Leon Blades joined the Royal Barbados Police Force in 1972. During his career, he worked in general policing across several jurisdictions, but it was in the traffic department where he spent most of his career. We spoke with the veteran officer on his last day of work in July 2018 as he prepared to go on retirement.
Today it's been about 45 years and about almost 8 months. 9 months. I haven't had it down to days and hours yet. Having left Princess Margaret School, I was working temporarily in a temporary post at Land Valuation. Then it was at my Charles F. Broome School. Where Charles F. Broome School currently is, the Land Valuation was there. As you go straight up to the gap, instead of turning left to go to Charles F. Broome School, it was right ahead. And I was there, and I wanted to teach geometrical technical drawing at St. George Secondary School. It was just open. St. George Secondary School was just open around that time. And I applied to the Ministry of Education to teach technical drawing because I had done it at the Technical Institute, and then it was at the Harbour Road where the ship's dock, the dry dock there. That is where the Technical Institute was. That's where the Polytechnic was when it was there in 1971, 72. So I wanted to teach drawing, and then a fella, I was living 6 Roads, St. Philip, and a guy asked me, "What are you waiting on that? Why don't try the force?" I told him, well, it was not my intention, never thought of it. And I made an application. I got a call. All that time I was only 18 years old. I made an application, I got a call, got an interview, and I was accepted, and the rest is history. I don't think it was never my intention to stay this long. I thought of using it as a stepping stone to go and do something else, but I got hooked on it, and ever since then I've enjoyed my stay in the force, able to help people, able to go places, and I don't think I have any regrets at all.
All police recruits spend 26 weeks at training school at Paragon. He reminisced on his experience there.
The very day we went to training school was my 90th birthday. So 28th of October 1972, my 90th birthday, and I had a date to go to the plaza, Bridgetown Plaza, in the evening. But I was hoping that I would get back down from the training school. I went up there in the morning, and I didn't get back down there till 5 o'clock in the evening, so I lost that date. So I went there in my 90th, went there to training school, my 90th birthday. Training school was a different kind of setting, in that I'm accustomed being home and my mother preparing for me. But here's it, I'm going to the training school and I have to live away from home. I am actually having to make decisions on my own. I have to press clothes myself. I have to not wash. I would take home the clothes, or I would wash some clothes at the training school, but I would take them home. Some weekends I would take them home. The weekend that I'm allowed to go home, because then every weekend that you go home. Some weekends that you're ready to go home, and then the instructor tell you, I need company. So we had to stay in. So we were kept in on weekends. So it built your resistance, and you say, well, home is not all I did a job. So some days I at the training school. But what happened is that I had ideas about pressing. Up to this day, I still love ironing clothes. Because there was a tailor I used to go by as a child, 15, 16, and we go and have him open his seams. Whenever he stitched the 2 halves of trousers together, I would open the seams with the iron and then press it. So I get used to that from a child, 15, 16. Ever since then, pressing is no problem. I can press any amount of clothes. It doesn't matter to me. There are some persons who don't like it. Washing is another thing. It doesn't matter to me. I can do that too. I used to wash with a joking board. Well, we didn't have joking boards at the training school, but I had to wash my hand as I would see my mother do, and my grandmother do, and my aunts and around me. But I learned that sort of thing. So when I go to the training school, those things were not foreign to me. So I was able to keep myself look presentable At the training school, I lost what we call best kit competition. There were different competitions at the training school. The best kit is how you turn out yourself, how clean your uniform is, and how the boots are shining and things like that. I lost the best kit competition with a guy from St. Vincent because my RBPF on my shoulder was upside down. And that's because somebody had put it on for me. Another Barbadian had put it on, perhaps, in haste to get ready for the competition. The Friday morning, it was upside down. And then the commandant came in and he examined it and said, I can't tell the difference between the two of these guys until he looked at my shoulder. And then he said, well, at least we'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt because your RBPF on one shoulder was upside down. It can stick with pain me, I wouldn't bleed because I was just so frustrated that I had done so much. But life is like that. I left training school in April 1973. There were 15 Barbadians, and I am the last. I was the youngest of the 15 Barbadians, and I'm the last of them to leave the force. All the others, some of whom have died, have left the force. I'm the last leaving the force.
On passing out from training school, young Blades was first assigned to Central Station in Bridgetown, where he was assigned to beat patrol.
We had beacon patrol duties. How we would work then, we work 4 hours in the day and 4 hours in the night. We call it 4x4. We work either 7 to 10 in the morning and 7 to 10 in the night, or 10 to 2 in the day and 10 to 2 in the night, or 2 to 6 in the evening and 2 to 6 in the morning. The first shift I worked was the 2 to 6. I remember clearly I worked with a lady named Margaret Marshall, a Constable Marshall. We rose to the rank of sergeant. She came from St. John, Margaret Marshall, and she took me out on duty. My first beat that I patrolled was we called beat 6. Beat 6 includes part of right opposite Central Police Station. It was Upper Swan Street on the left, up Robert Street. We're on the opposite side where the police headquarters is. So all of by then they had RL Seal and all those businesses were in Robert Street. And then we worked from 2 till 4 along Robert Street patrolling with her. And then I spent 4 till 6 at the gate, at the main gate at Central.
As a young officer, he gained immense experience at Central while patrolling in Bridgetown. He was also assigned as a guard to the Governor General's residence and the Supreme Court. In 1974, he moved to the District A Police Station.
I had the opportunity to work at District A Police Station. District A Police Station then was considered as the plantation. It encompasses nearly 3/4 of St. Michael, the densely populated portions of St. Michael. As a result, you find that to get around, we didn't have vans, the luxury of all the vans we have now. We had bicycles, or we had to catch a bus. So sometimes if I have to speak to anybody, warn anybody, or do any investigation up in the Pine area, I will walk from District A or get a bus, lift my bus down to the Globe, catch the Pine bus, go to the Pine, deal with what I have to deal with, walk around and come back, or I will have to ride a bicycle. On the converse, I would go the other side. I used to ride a bicycle out at Cotterton Hill. The corner of Whitehall used to direct traffic there on mornings, and at the bottom by Terrier Court used to direct traffic there on evenings. That was a regular thing in me. And then I would go and patrol all through Eden Lodge. Then I think the commissioner then was Mr. Durant. He was a deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner, something like that. But he was living in Rockdundee. So then the area we had to visit Rockdundee. He used to patrol 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning on foot, patrolling through Rockdundee or Pine Gardens or through Welch's Terrace. So there we had to patrol those areas. Those are the built up areas within our station area, District A station area. I used to get a lot of problems with a lot of people, a lot of crimes were committed then. I remember about 3 o'clock one morning, West Indies were playing Australia, and we left District A on patrol. West Indies based Australia down in Australia, so quick, coming out 3 or 4 o'clock in the mornings. And a guy that was patrolling me had a little transistor radio, and we were walking and patrolling and listening to the radio. But they realized that, we can disturb any criminals in that area had to disturb, but we want to hear cricket. We want to listen to cricket. So we walk with a transistor radio, we walk and patrol cricket. When we, on the other side, when we work in the Pine area. We used to come down from the Pine, and sometimes we would, on our way back here, we would stop by the Globe. We would finish the Globe, we watch the midnight shows. If we finish work at 11 o'clock, we would tell the corporal that we're stopping by the Globe. We would go to the station and come back down the Globe and watch midnight, and then go back to the station.
During his years of service, he moved from constable up the ranks, becoming officer in charge of traffic.
In 1979, I left District A and I came to traffic. In 1982, I got my first promotion as a sergeant, because in 1981, they actually abolished the rank of corporal. So those who were the senior corporals then, the corporals then were automatically promoted to sergeants. There were just one or two who were left. And I got promoted in 1982 as a sergeant. Then I was in traffic, I was riding a motorcycle. So I was in traffic. And in traffic traffic then was the mainstay of the highway patrol, looking at the highways. We were dealing with traffic then had three main limbs. We had traffic, telecommunications, and transport. The transport used to look after the testing of driving licenses and regulation tests. That was the transport side. The telecommunication was the control room, and then traffic was the speed crew for patrols in the city, motorcyclists patrolling, and we used to do in the road safety lectures and things. That was the traffic branch then. In 1979 when I joined traffic. In 1982 as an SPO, I was in charge of a shift from 5 or so motorcyclists, and we would fall in at different times, and we would go on duty, patrol different highways.
In 1990, Leon Blades was promoted to station sergeant, and in 1997 to inspector. In 2011, he was elevated to Assistant Superintendent of Police, but he is still best known for his work in traffic. How has traffic changed over the 30 years he worked in the area?
The volume of traffic is grown tremendously more than then, because we had only perhaps 4,000 or 5,000 cars. We have over 20,000 cars now. Lots of vehicles on the road. So there's a greater demand, and there are a lot more accidents. When I was at District A, I think when I left there in 1979, I think the most accidents you had was about 1,000 accidents, 900 somebody to 1,000 accidents in a year. Now you get in 1,000 accidents in over a 6-month period, because there are a lot more vehicles on the road, there are a lot more drivers out there. And I personally posit the view that drivers need more education. Education can make a lot of difference. Driver education is crucial if drivers understand their role, because I believe that the driving instructor prepares you for the test. But the life as a driver, there's no provision for that, so you need to spend some more time looking at traffic driver education. Driver education is crucial. In United Kingdom, they do a lot of programs in driver education. In Singapore, where all the studies, all the research can show that, in Australia, all those countries do a lot of driver education. In the United States, I saw it in the United States. So driver education is important. So there's an area that there's room for improvement in driver education. Because drivers seem, and not only driver education, it's also the enforcement side of it. Enforcement from the point of view that the police make a lot of traffic cases. A lot of traffic cases. But there still need to be some more as far as driver education and enforcement out there on the road with accidents. Because there are a lot of minor accidents may not be see the light of day, persons might not go before the court. So they have minor infractions, they commit minor infractions, and they don't get before the court. So in my view, the minor infractions go to major infractions. They move from minor infraction to major infractions. And then they cause fatal accidents. But they were not penalized, they were not punished at the beginning when they made the minor infractions, because they get used to it and think it's a habit.
Mr. Blades believes strongly that not only in terms of traffic, but in policing on a whole, enforcement is necessary.
Not only to the traffic violations, but enforcing, telling drivers how they're wrong, stopping them and telling them. I had a corporal, Oscar Clark, he was my corporal. He was riding a motorcycle, and drivers used to avoid him. You know why? Because when he would stop you, he might not report you, but he will carry you through a regulation test on the spot. So people used to realize they feel his weight out there on the road because he will stop you and tell you your error of your ways.
As he moves into this next stage of his life, you better believe it, he will still be involved in traffic management.
There are some things that I want to do from a road safety perspective, to try to further the case for road safety and safe driving out there on the road. Those are things that I am passionate about. Very passionate. I'm passionate about driver education. I believe that there's room for improved driver education to such an extent that I would love to create a school setting where the courts can refer people to me to do for errant drivers to do at least 15 to 20 hours or more, depending in driver education. I would also like to write a book on, which I have started, write a book on minimizing your involvement in accidents. There's another thing I would like to do. Another third thing I would like to do is to create a kind of a seminar, a road safety seminar, to alert people on the roads, on people using the roads, of what is happening. And then I'll oftentimes we want to target the younger drivers, especially those of school age, because it means I have to prepare them for the years ahead on the road. Because those are the target. My target group would be the younger children, those between 16 and 19. I would like to focus on them.
He was a regular presenter of the television program So You Think You Can Drive, as well as the radio show On the Beat. The program targeted issues affecting drivers and offered advice and practical exercises to correct bad driving practices. His views on elderly road users is still the same.
Those persons who are after 60, 70 years and beyond as drivers, they need to be re-examined. And a lady got annoyed, so wanted to know if I want to stop them from driving. But the thing is that I would say my thoughts were, and they still are, is that a driver who had gotten a driving test in 1970 or 80 and has not been driving often, and the systems have changed, the road markings have changed over the years. I'm saying that that driver can benefit by going over, having a refresher training, so that they can be more aware of the signage, the more recent signage on the roads. I'm sure that some older drivers are not able to read mirrors at the junctions. So you need to be able to look at the mirror and read the mirror and understand what the mirror is telling you. In their early formative years of driving, they never had mirrors. So they have mirrors now. Have a lot of traffic lights, they have a lot of roundabouts. You need to know how to use the roads.
Well, what do you think? Was the driver of car C in any way responsible for this accident? Well, I'm sure most of you would have recognized that the driver of car C precipitated this accident by indicating to car A that he could turn across in the first place.
I was one of the presenters. There's another guy, a former inspector police, Keith Miller, who has died, and there's another guy named Dalton Springer, who's still in service. And we would be the presenters on this program. So You Think You Know to Drive. We would come on television and we would make a presentation, we give you a scenario, tell you, and then when we show you what the bad driving was, we also show you tell you what's the correct way that you should use the roads. These are the sort of programs, if allowed, if sponsorship is available, that the police can do to enhance the driver experience, to make sure people are safer on the roads. So I think that driver education is important, because the driver of today, he has more challenges on the road because there are a lot more vehicles on the road.
The veteran police officer has been on the scene of and investigated several road accidents in his career. He recalled the most tragic in recent times as the Joes River accident, when a bus carrying revelers heading to Party Monarch on the east coast of the island crashed into a wall.
It was July 2007. I can't remember the exact date in July. but I was summoned to do that accident. I went there, I didn't know the gravity of the situation, but I went there with an open mind, and then realized that by the time I got to the accident scene, I think there were the driver had taken over the vehicle. He had gone off to the hospital because the other persons had died there on the spot. When I first saw the wreck, I was saying to myself, how many people living in this accident? Because when I got there, all of the seats in the bus, were actually ripped away. The only seat was standing was the back seat in the tour coach. All the other seats were ripped away. It seemed to me that the momentum of the bus and the persons traveling in the bus, where the force knocked away all of the seats right up to the front. And the only persons who were actually seen in the bus then were the deceased people who were up to the front of the bus. There was, I really can't talk about it because of the families, but yes, it was a horrific experience. But I kept my sanity, and I started to get all the information, vital information on the scene and the accident, and in managing the persons going away from the scene, being taken away from the scene by the ambulance, and on the escort, police escort, and had one of our motorcyclists come there. It was a traumatic experience.
But there is more to Leon Blades than traffic. He is an active member of the St. Barnabas Anglican Church. He teaches modern ballroom, salsa, line dancing, and three-step. He thinks that having other interests and finding a balance is important for everyone, including police officers, to relieve stress.
I have a multifaceted life. I'm the chief usher at St. Barnabas Church. I'm also a dance instructor. I teach ballroom, line dancing, three-step dancing.
Family is very important to him. He met his wife Marcia in 1986 at her sister's birthday party.
My sister-in-law always talk about it. So here's my chance to talk about it. And I met her there, and she told me, don't start nothing that you can't finish. So I'm still continuing along that path. It is still a work in progress. Since 1987, and 87 right up to now, it's still a work in progress. We were married in 1988. And ever since then, we're together. Family life is good because you need that support system as a police officer. Because no 2 days in policing are alike. Some days you get challenges, and sometimes you need somebody to talk to. Sometimes you come in, your supervisor might not be that person you talk to. You go home and you relax and you talk about your day's work. You've got somebody to talk to. For family, the support systems is crucial in the development of a policeman's life. And now, so I have three children. I have 5 grandkids. I'm from one of 11 children, and I'm number 4 along the line. So I have a big family, and we support one another. We communicate with one another daily. WhatsApp chat. We chat with one another daily because we keep in contact with one another. I have a sister living in Jamaica, a brother and sister living in Atlanta. And the others are in Barbados. And I have a son living in Louisville, Kentucky. I have a son and daughter. My other son and daughter lives in Barbados. So we have family overseas and some of them here. But we keep in contact. Anytime there is a traumatic situation, and my daughter hears about an accident or something like that, she would call and find out where I am. My son would call me from Daddy, where you are, because they want to know. I'm trying to find if I'm involved, and the police will get shoot at anything like that. Where you are, there's a question. So my family support is there. They're concerned.
Now retired Assistant Superintendent Leon Blades, dedicated to serving, protecting, and reassuring Barbadians. We wish him a safe and happy retirement.